Hi everyone, welcome to Consumer Values. Today we're looking at Humacyte and the share price is up 31%. We haven't had such a large gain in such a long time. Share price is $1.73, much better than when it was say $1.20. Share price is still quite suppressed. I think there's still quite a bit of room to run. The recent quarterly was very positive. We'll jump to that and we'll just talk about some of the highlights of this. So revenue was 500,000, but about 147,000 was to do with Simvest itself. So that's about 5 units. So that you just have to be wary that this was also in March. So this quarterly is in March. So there wasn't a lot of time between the sales beginning and this kind of report. So hopefully the next report we should see a fairly big jump in sales. Hopefully getting into 1 to 3 million, and in the preceding quarters after that should be even larger going forward, and that's I think what the market is kind of interpreting from this kind of what's happening right now. So there's about 45 hospitals that have signed on to the VAC process, so they're all looking at this and thinking about it, which takes about 3 to 6 months, and they're all level 1 trauma centers. So there's about 200 of these, so 45 is about a quarter, which is fantastic. So I've gotten quite a lot of interest already, especially from these large centers. So don't underestimate like just 45. One center can do so many surgeries. Like these are massive centers, so this itself could be a ton of sales for just 45 if they can convince all these 45, or even if they can just convince half. It's enough to get things to balance the books in the longer term. So highlights for the quarter was first commercial sales, as we just talked about. They probably sold about 5 units, 45 hospitals on the VAC process. I think this is probably the statement that highlights everything that's really positive. So they've got military facilities that are expressing interest in purchasing Simvest. The only thing stopping them from purchasing is them not being on the ECAT, which is the electronic catalogue for the Department of Defense. So this could not be more blatant to say Department of Defense is going to buy. They're just not on the approved supply yet. But the minute they are, they're selling to Department of Defense. So I think this is probably the statement that makes the quarter. Like it's, I think if we were judging by the hospital sales, we were hoping, I think we were just on a fence whether this company would need to raise money or not. But if they can get military facilities to start ordering, namely Department of Defense, then yeah, everything kind of starts to look really good going forward, and potentially they might not have to raise money, especially given the cost reduction. So they've managed to implement a plan that will reduce workforce by 31 employees. So they're in quite a focus mode right now, just focus on Simvest and their other trial, of course, their VO12 trial, which they've enrolled 84 patients. So they need that for the dialysis application to the FDA next year. So that one they cannot hold back, so they have to spend money on that regardless. But everything else they can sort of halt as long as it's not impacting Simvest or this trial. So they think they can save about 13.8 million for 2025 and 38 million in 2026 based on this implementation. So if they can save about 13.8 million, because originally we looked at the last capital raise, and they were probably going to have enough money just for over 2 quarters. So potentially this savings potentially might get them through the year if they can ramp up sales. and potentially they may have to raise a little bit next year, just so they can restart some programs. But if sales are quite good by then, they may not have to raise. So in a sense, these are very, very good signs. They've got a really good cost reduction plan. Department of Defense is ready to buy. They just need to be on the catalog. And yeah, they've got their trial getting started soon. They've got 84 patients, which I think they had planned 80, so they're ready to go. So once they get the data from that, so it's about a 1-year trial, and once they get all the data, they can submit an application in the second half of next year. And once that's approved, then they can start selling for dialysis, which is a whole lot larger in terms of size of a market for this. So this study could potentially change the company's future as well. But for now, they have to make Synvest work. Synvest will do wonders for the company too, but dialysis is a completely different ballpark as well. The minute they can get these two going and a lot of revenue coming through, company can just go full force into every other study. And then this company has no, limits in the sense of how much they can make. So yeah, everything's looking really, really good. I think the market really interpreted it in a really nice way. I certainly look at it and go, it definitely alleviates quite a few of my worries in terms of how much, when they might need to do a capital raise, how these sales will be going forward. But if a Department of Defense deal is there, then basically that's half your sale problems kind of gone. And I've got about 45 hospitals on the VAC process, so that itself, once they get through that will be quite a few orders itself. Until we see next quarter, it's still hard to make projections in terms of how well they're going to perform, because we don't know the how to get how much financials to kind of predict for this company in terms of their sales of Synvest. But after next quarter, it starts to give us a really, really good idea. Of course, the bulk of the revenue is going to be in the second half. But yeah, I think from now, this quarter kind of alleviates a lot of worries. And hopefully the share price will continue its momentum. It's definitely still very, very low. Current market cap is 268 million. It should be way, way higher than this. But I think there's just been quite a few kind of issues just arise in terms of the press going after them, also people shorting their shares, and then investors having some worries themselves around the funding, around how fast they can ramp up sales. But I think this at least alleviates investors and probably brings in more investors to buy, which will start to make shorts kind of ease off. And as we get more sales, the proof of the product and how good it is starts to come through. And once hospitals are convinced, that's all you really have to convince, because at the end of the day, you can have all these hit piece articles, but they're not going to do any more damage if these hospitals have seen the product, they've used the product, and have actually seen how good it is. So the more of this product that continues to sell and get out there, I think it just alleviates any bad press that they can get. And yeah, I think things are going well. Hopefully share price just continues its momentum, and I will make a video when we have more information going forward. But yeah, today is one of the best we've probably had all year in terms of really positive news on the quarterly, in terms of things going forward, and also the share price jumping up a whopping 31%. If it does this a few more times, we will be at a good place, but definitely could be significantly higher. But of course, the company just has to continue to deliver on these milestones, and we'll get there. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, good luck investing, everyone.